Scotty got me wired already. How many espresso shots you put in here?
That has 2 double shots. That's
2 double shots?
Yep.
So there's 4 shots of espresso in here.
Uh-huh. So be careful.
Is there sodium in espresso?
No.
I don't believe so, right?
Maybe a little natural, but nothing too crazy.
Well, I was eating...
Nothing you have to worry about in terms of holding water weight in it.
I've been eating buffalo chicken bites all week. Like I make boneless chicken thighs, fried them up. You know what I mean? I always add in some buffalo sauce. I'm eating it for the last few days, and then I don't know how much sauce is on there. But I look at, I don't know why the fuck I thought there was no sodium. Dude, it was like 25%. I was like, I mean, I'm right at weight. Don't get me wrong. Like I just sweat my balls off on Sunday morning and weigh in.
Needed to, yeah.
But I'd rather not to. I'd rather just get there early, weigh in, and fucking eat. I'm already at disadvantage because I'm old. I'm traveling and I'm competing with the younger guys. So I just need to be at 189 and not 191. They're gonna be like, you gotta go with the bigger guys. Bigger guys are too big. They grow them too big. It's like 180. They're like 5'9", 5'10". Yeah. You get to 200, everybody's 6 fucking foot. I'm looking up at them and it's fucking bullshit. You know what I mean? So anyways, you ready to rock and roll?
Let's do this.
Looking for the perfect grooming experience for your pup? Welcome to Carly's Fairy Tale Dog Grooming, located at 8 North Main Street in Pittston. We offer boutique-style grooming with a focus on quality over quantity. Your furry friend will enjoy a cage-free, stress-free environment where they will feel comfortable and pampered. At Carly's, we make sure every dog leaves feeling and looking like royalty. Call 541-410-9582 or stop in today to book your appointment at Carly's Fairy Tale Dog Grooming. Genoa Wholesale Foods, supplying quality since 1947. For over 75 years, Genoa Wholesale Foods has been your trusted partner for premium food supplies. Specializing in services to pizzerias, Genoa also caters to restaurants, bakeries, delis, and bars throughout northeastern Pennsylvania. They proudly offer a blend of both private label and national brands, helping you find the perfect products to meet your restaurant needs. With local deliveries and the care of a family-owned business, they are committed to making your success their priority. Choose Genoa Wholesale Foods for reliable, top-quality restaurant supplies that keep your business running smoothly. Genoa Wholesale Foods, locally owned and operated for 3 generations. Call Genoa today at 570-823-6142 or visit them online at www.genoafoods.com. Welcome to Food Fight. I'm your host, Brian DiMattei. We are coming to you from the Conversion Works studio here in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, right in the middle of the valley. And I happen to have a valley guy sitting right in front of me. I'm also a valley guy. We realized last week, I think we looked it up, Brian, last week, the valley goes from Carbondale all the way to where?
Like Hazelton?
Hazelton, from like Carbondale to Hazelton.
I don't know about that one.
But there's valleys everywhere.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. So
where do you think the valley starts?
I would say the valley was, for me, like Music down to Nanticoke. I keep it really small, yeah.
That was Wikipedia.
Anyways, as I was saying, I didn't even introduce. My guest today is Austin Shission.
Yep.
All right. Owner of Copymore Hospitality Group, which includes Abide Coffee House, Tea-Sperience, and more. We're going to get into it. Austin, welcome to Food Fight.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. We got you here. I was a little under the weather last week. Had to do some rescheduling, but we are here, and we are episode 51. We're rocking and rolling. You mentioned earlier when we got down here, you used to have a podcast.
Yeah, I did a podcast a little bit while I was in my master's program.
Okay.
Interviewing some medical professionals. At the time, I thought I was going to go to medical school, so I wanted to learn about the whole profession.
So completely different than the coffee house.
Than selling coffee. I went from wanting to be a surgeon to selling cups of coffee. Quite the difference.
We're going to get in, real fast. Without getting too far into this, we'll get into it in the later rounds, all right? What made you make that change? Where did you went from being in college, going for medical, doing a medical podcast, super into it with your friend, and being like, you know what? I want to do something different. I want to get into the restaurant industry. There's your consulting firm. That's where it all started out. 2019, I believe it was?
Yes.
You started a consulting firm. What was that consulting firm? What were you consulting people on?
Yeah, so at the time, I was graduated college already, and I was eventually going to go to medical school. I needed to pay the bills somehow. I was working for a nonprofit in the area. Nonprofit salaries do not pay your student loans, so I had to do some side work. So I started a consulting business with small businesses in the area, graphic design, websites, marketing, stuff like that. eventually grew into something bigger, and I'd started doing that full time before medical school.
What made you? Where did you get the decision or the background or experience to start a consulting firm for graphic design and marketing?
I was always doing side projects in high school and college for friends, family, other business owners that I know, just as kind of like a favor, throw me a few $100 and I'll put together a website for you, all that. So I just built up the knowledge over 5 or 6 years before that.
Oh, nice. So you were already experienced in that kind of stuff. You're like, how can I make some extra money?
Yeah, exactly.
Let me fuck around and do this.
I need to pay these student loans somehow. So.
Okay, yeah. I know that. The government's going to make everyone pay their student loans now.
I saw that, yeah.
They're all going to have to pay. We're going to first detour of the day. My food fight page does really well on TikTok.
Oh, okay.
But I don't scroll anymore on TikTok. All right. I switched over. My regular TikTok was just my name and making regular videos, but I was down all the rabbit holes.
Oh, I'm down so many rabbit holes.
All the extreme rabbit holes where no one wants to have an opinion. Whatever they're saying is fact. And it's just like, all the rabbit holes, right? But I'm in there making comments. I'm waiting for these strangers to get back to me about the argument, which I know the answer is going to be the same as their first answer. But it was obsessing over it, right? I'm like, I got to change this up. This is horrible. It's not healthy. So I changed it over to DiMattei's Food Fight. Got rid of all those reels I had on there, and so I put them all my food fight pages up, my food fight reels on there. Mm-hmm. And the algorithm they love the Texas Wieners reviews. People are in the comments from Texas being like, what the fuck is this thing on here? Please leave Texas out of it.
Yeah, you're from Pennsylvania. Get out of here.
So I made sure I hashtag Texas every single time on there. So that was my way of getting off of that. Down those TikTok rabbit holes.
Well, that's like the rage baiting. That's what you're doing by tagging Texas in there. You're just pissing them off, which is getting more engagement and views.
That's different. We're talking about food now. This is food. Food is going to be a lot different than
politics.
Politics or health and fitness and all that kind of stuff, because there's extremes. What I was getting at is the people are. I saw some. I watch YouTube a lot. Videos are on there. People are like, the government's going to make us pay. They're making you pay your loans back. I pay my student loans back every month. I get it. They're going to work it out with you. They're going to give you enough time. It's just time to pay it back. I get it. I wish they would. Don't get me wrong. I wish they forgave the loans years ago, because I would have smiled on my face. Okay. You're not going to see me being like, oh no, please let me pay it back. I've been paying a lot of taxes for a lot of years, so it is what it is, but I do pay mine back every month, and you saying you do too. You had to get a whole different job just to pay them back.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But they're going down though. They're going down there though. All right. So let me ask you the most important question of the whole episode.
Okay.
All right. What makes the perfect cup of coffee?
Wow.
Boom. Punch it right in the face with that, right?
Perfect cup of coffee. Well, to be totally honest, my dad, who co-owns with me, is really the coffee guy. He's all about the coffee. When we bought the place, I had only had a few cups of coffee my entire life. I didn't even like coffee. I don't even love it now, to be honest, but I've learned a lot over the past few years. And really the perfect cup of coffee, I really want to get to like when you're having a latte, right? That's where you get pulling the espresso shots. That's what you're having right now.
I'm a latte guy. I make one every morning in my house.
The espresso shots is what changes everything. How much water you're pulling through that shot, what the weight in grams is of the grounds in that shot, everything about that, the atmosphere around the espresso machine. So every morning we redial in our espresso machine based off the temperature, the atmosphere outside, the pressure in the coffee shop, the acidity of the coffee, which changes every day as it ages. So to sum it all up, age your coffee 10 days. We pull an espresso shot that has an exact 20 grams of grounds, pull water through that, and usually you want to get there on 27 to 30 seconds, and you have your perfect espresso shot.
This tastes #delicious. This espresso. We got 14 espresso shots in here. You said, or 4?
4.
Oh, 4. Okay.
Yeah.
We got 4. We got the cream, the froth, and we got 2 sugars in here.
We have a customer that comes in and gets a quad shot over ice. So he gets 4 double shots, so 8 single shots over ice, and that's his entire drink.
That's a lot of caffeine.
That's scary. I feel like I have to have him sign a waiver for that.
Yeah, I would have him sign a waiver for that. Dangerous waiver. I used to be a caffeine junkie. I used to be a Red Bull junkie.
I was Monster Energy drinks.
Then I discovered at Aldi they have Red Thunder. So it was their version of Red Bull.
Was it good?
It was $2.49 for a 4-pack. It became good.
Oh, for that price, yeah.
It became good. Sugar-free, and then I couldn't taste the Red Bull anymore after that. It was always the Red Thunder, but I would drink 3 or 4 of those a day. coffee in the morning.
That's how it
was
was in
just
college.
constant. It was just constant crashing. I didn't realize how tired I was all the time. I was able to get myself off of that, and I had 1 cup of coffee in the morning, and the rest of me just drinking this because you're the coffee guy. I mean, drinking coffee while we're doing the podcast, but normally it would just be water or whatever. Yeah. But this 1 cup of coffee in the morning, I don't get tired throughout the day because I stay hydrated. Water, because most people get tired in the afternoons, you're dehydrated. Coffee, a Monster, and Monster you got 3 times. So I just watched the video on Monster's marketing campaign when they became who they are. When they were going to go after Red Bull, the marketing scheme was, we got to do everything different. We can't do anything like Red Bull. So that's why they had the huge can.
Okay.
Black with the green claws instead of being, silver with colorful like Red Bull. Red Bull's like, oh, give me wings. You know what I mean? Look how colorful, look how playful, right? Monster's like, I'm going to get you all geared up and all this fucking trash in here. 3 servings in 1 can. And we drink how many cans? There was a Monster Energy drink kiosk or vending machine at the casino when I worked there in the break room. Mm-hmm. All right. We used to get a break every hour for dealing cards. You need a break every hour. Your mind just goes insane, right? We get a 20-minute break every hour. I would watch the same people that I go on break with. They would get a Monster every single break.
That's not good for your health or your wallet. I couldn't even imagine.
It's insane.
Buying that many Monsters.
It's insane to drink that much. How much caffeine do you fucking have? Your body's craving water. I had a client once, my personal trainer as well. I don't do it as much as I used to. I had a client once, comes in, and she's talking about how my feet hurt, my hands hurt, my calves hurt. I'm always in pain, yada, 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 yada. So I'm like, okay, maybe there's some blood flow problems. Maybe there's that, right? So I'll be getting into the diet. I'm like, what do you eat? Blah, 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 blah. I go, how much water do you drink every day? Oh, actually, I don't drink water. I go, what's in your Big Thomas thermos? She goes, that's just espressos that I make at the house. All she drank was coffee and espressos.
At the gym. Or anytime.
All day long. And she's wondering why her body was hurting me. So long story short, started training her, started getting her to drink more water. I'd have her drink 2 bottles of water before she left to work out. She was I have one before we start working out and then let that digest a little bit and then afterwards, right? After a couple of weeks, she's like, Brian, I can feel my feet again. My hands feel better. I'm like, could you imagine that? I hope she's still doing it. I hope she's still doing it out there because think about that. Your body's just craving that and we're filling up with Monster Energy drinks.
I did that for way too long in college. I don't want to think about how many Monsters I've had in those years.
I completely agree. I would think, what else goes into the perfect cup of coffee besides the ingredients? Does that make sense, that question?
Yes, it does.
All right.
So the big thing, too, is the training with the baristas. Our baristas takes about a month and a half to get someone totally trained to do everything right and pull things right. And obviously the dialing in. And really, when it comes to Abide specifically, we're beyond what the cup of coffee is. It's more for us about the community and the atmosphere. Our idea that we talk about is we want to be able to serve a bad cup of coffee and still have people want to come in because of the atmosphere and the environment that they're in and the welcoming open doors. Now, granted, I hope we're serving a good cup of coffee, but the idea is no matter what, people still want to come in. I think that makes a big difference when you're enjoying a cup of coffee, if you're somewhere you feel comfortable at.
That makes sense. I like that answer. I see, about a month ago, the community really rallied around your coffee shop when someone decided to let themselves in for some coffee on off hours.
Yes, they did.
It happened to be the first time I came by the coffee shop. So I'll tell you about that after you get into what happened. Well, somebody broke in, and we go from there.
Yeah, so I actually had come in the next morning. This was a Tuesday morning. My dad had just left earlier that morning to go visit my sister down in South Carolina. So I'm there alone. And usually he takes care of everything in the morning. So I went in place of him. And I call him like, where's the money at? Like, what'd you do with it? He goes, I didn't touch anything. I said, well, it's not here. Like, one of my employees must have taken it to the tea shop or something. I'm like, all right, it's around. After a few minutes, I'm looking around like something just seems off. And then I look and see the doors smashed in. I didn't even realize it because I just walked in the office, door was already open. I'm like, all right, whatever. So someone had come in that night around 2 a.m., broke into the coffee shop, stole some money from us. Not a huge deal, but, as a small business, taking anything from us
of course
is a lot.
Yeah.
So we actually we ended up doing a robbery special for that day and the next day. So we did a 15% off everything for 2 days. So that was pretty fun. And we got an amazing turnout from the community. The support we got tons of donations too, which anything we made beyond what our normal income would have been or versus what we got stolen, we donated to a few local charities, support the soup kitchen meals for a week, donated some other for Easter dinners and stuff. But the community love and support was just incredible.
NEPA community is like that.
It is, yeah.
You know, and when they find their loyal places and their loyal businesses, you know, they stay loyal to that. They stay loyal to that. You're saying, like, you know, you might get a bad cup of coffee every once in a while, for whatever reason, maybe not. But that's when the real supporters, the real customers come back. It's like I always say, you know, there's no reason for me to give a bad review on my food page because this could just be an off day. And I might just not like it. Then I go back to it and it's perfect. Like my favorite pizza spots, there's been days where I go in, I get some bad slices. I don't know what's going on, but I'm not going to chalk up the 100 other times I went in there and it was good to that one bad time being like, you know, it's just somebody was off that day, having a bad day. They didn't leave it in the oven too long. Whatever the reason was, it wasn't on par that day. But for me to exit out and be like, I'm never going back there now, you know? Like Rosario from Rosario's Pizzeria and Clark Sumner was on my show, and he mentioned, he goes, you get somebody that leaves a comment in the comment sections, whether it's Yelp or Facebook, whatever, be like, every time I come here, it's great, but today it was terrible. Well, why didn't you post the other times you were there when it was great? And he made a really good point with that. And people are in the comments being like, oh, you should be able to handle bad comments. That's not what he was getting at.
Yeah.
That's not what he was getting at. Real cooks, real restaurant owners, they can handle the bad feedback. They want bad feedback, you know, but there's ways to go about it. But also, if you're a loyal customer and you don't go out of your way to make a good review, but you go out of your way to make a bad review because one time it was no bueno.
How loyal are you really?
Yeah.
I think people forget too that, and I'm learning this too, and I'm not even really in the restaurant industry. I have coffee, right? Like not quite in the food business yet. I'm working on some projects for that. But it's just people behind the counter making this stuff. It's not like this, especially when you're talking about small mom and pops, right? It's not some big corporation that's trying to screw you over. Someone made a mistake.
I agree.
Why aren't we looking past that and looking at them as a human, not just
take it easy.
Yeah,
relax.
It's a cup of coffee or it's a plate of pasta. It's not that serious. Like
relax.
Yeah,
relax. Sometimes at work, I might misplace a message with a client, right? But before that, I sent them 4 or 5 messages. Hey, where you been? You coming like the train? Blah 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 blah. Right? But then, like, you know, our system runs payments automatically. You guys signed up for that. You signed an agreement. Once in a while, the system gets lucky. Payment goes through. Boom. Immediate message or phone call. Hey, I got charged today. I understand. You knew your dates were. I messaged you 5 times. I showed them the messages. So I called you twice. Left you voicemails. All you gotta do is get back to me. We could have worked this out. Let me go from there. You know what I mean? Like, we're not sticklers with it, but it's just what I'm getting at is communication in all aspects is super important because there's nothing worse than miscommunication in a friendship, relationship, and a business relationship because it destroys everything. Then the trust foundation is broken, and then you just window down from there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Speaking of that, I got a good question for you.
Okay.
What does hospitality mean to you?
So I think this kind of relates to one of the questions before, like what goes into a good cup of coffee, and kind of that goes to hospitality. I think the hospitality at the end of the day isn't about what you're serving, but the experience you're giving a customer or a client or whatever you're doing with them, right? Anybody can go home and make pasta, right? And may go home, maybe not the best pasta, but they can go home and make a pizza. They're choosing to go out somewhere to spend that money to have that experience so they don't have to deal with it themselves.
I agree.
Same thing. You can make a cup of coffee at home. Everyone does it. You have Keurigs, and some people might even like the Keurig coffee better. But it's about having that experience when you're going somewhere, and that's what hospitality really is.
I like that answer. I don't like Keurig coffee. It's plastic.
I drink Keurig coffee for a long time.
I don't know. I have a Mr. Coffee espresso machine at the house. Make an espresso. I froth the milk up. Yeah. That's my morning.
Well, now I have a Breville that I pull my shots from, but for a long time there.
That stuff looks pretty good.
It is.
That looks like a good, the little pods, the small little pods, right?
No, the Breville is the actual espresso machine.
Oh, okay.
So you can pull, it has a grinder right on the top and a hopper, so it grinds the beans, it steams your milk, all that, yeah.
I was thinking of like this, that's what an N.
Nespresso, yeah.
Little pods. Landfill's full of pods. Full of pods. I watched the whole video on the landfill. This one section was just coffee pods.
I saw that. It's like how many thousands of years till they're all gone.
Oh my God. But you know what? Everyone's wide awake though from it. That's for sure. All right. So we mentioned earlier that you started off Copymore Consulting Firm. You're making websites. You're doing marketing for businesses. When did that evolve into your first hospitality business?
Yeah, so it was actually interesting. When I had the consulting business, at that time, I still had no intentions of getting into hospitality. My intentions was still to go to medical school. Even as the consulting business was flourishing, like, okay, this is going to pay the bills until I go to medical school. And then the coffee shop that I own now, Abide Coffee House, their previous owner was looking for a website, a little help here, a little help there. I'm like, I'll help out. Like, he was a friend of mine. I was the customer every single day, so I built his website for him. And then I did a few other things as I was doing my other consulting things. And then, this would have been 2022. So summer of 22, he told my dad and I that he was moving away back to California, and he wanted to sell the business. And at that time, I was just getting ready to apply to medical school. And my dad and I talked about, like, we should buy it. It was a good price. We knew what we needed to do to grow it. I already had the business experience, not in retail or like hospitality, but I had the general idea of marketing, new finances. I'd got my MBA as well, so I had all that background, and we ended up buying it, and it was all history from there. So it was just pure coincidence. I didn't go searching out to get in the hospitality industry, never had any intentions. I actually told people years ago, I said, no chance in hell I'm ever starting a restaurant. I'm never getting involved in that shenanigans. That's total shit. Like, I have no intentions. And now I'm working on starting a restaurant next year.
Yeah,
so.
I saw that. That was going to be one of my closers right there, which we'll get into that before we head out. Lost my train of thought. Okay, what experience did your father have in the hospitality industry, or did you guys just team up and be like, let's fucking do it?
Yeah, he didn't have any direct experience either.
Oh, okay.
He was an accountant for 29 years.
Okay.
So he retired from his accounting job to own the coffee shop with me. And the funny part of that is he does none of the accounting. He wants nothing to do with it. He goes, I did it for 29 years. It's all you. He doesn't even know the logins to our QuickBooks, our bank accounts. All he does, he counts the drawers in the morning with the cash, deposits that, and that's the extent of his work in the accounting. But yeah, he was in accounting for 29 years.
I just want to count the money that we're making. That's it. I want to leave it at that.
Yep,
Good for him.
Puts it in the bank, and that's it. I take care of everything else in the accounting side.
What's he do at the coffee shop? Anything else?
Oh, he takes care of all the stuff I don't want to. He takes care of talking to customers and people. Okay. I'm not a people person, so I
seem like you could be a people person.
I guess I can be a people person, but it tires me out, and I'd rather sit in front of my computer all day and work.
Fair enough, bro.
So he interacts with customers, with vendors. He works with our baristas in the day-to-day, our manager. He takes care of ordering, all like the day-to-day operations. He totally takes care of in the coffee shop. I could not show up for a week and it'd be totally fine. I take care of the marketing, the finances, our new growth projects, all that stuff in the back end. How
amazing is the marketing platforms that we have now? Now, I graduated from Penn State with a marketing degree in 2008.
Okay.
So it was still very much paper. I'm still old school. Look at this. You know what I mean? Very much paper, PowerPoint presentations, ads in the newspaper, TV placements, right? Social streaming wasn't that big back then. I think Netflix existed probably.
Might have been DVDs still.
DVDs still, you know what I mean?
Maybe so thinking
about that, you know what I mean? Thinking about like, I used to be on Facebook just to play Mafia Wars back in the day. Brian, remember Mafia Wars?
That in Farmville.
You remember Mafia Wars?
I do remember Mafia Wars. Mafia Wars Farmville. And there's another one that we played a lot too. But
so you mind how old you are?
I'm 29. So I was born in 96.
Okay. You're the same age as my coach, Tyler Mooney, down at the gym. All right, so you caught the tail end of those games.
Yeah.
But Mafia Wars, I was spending money. I was dropping money on Mafia Wars for no fucking reason at all. But think about how much I had to relearn digital marketing. So I graduated in 2008. I was a big fan of Mad Men. You were talking about Mad Men?
Yes.
So I watched Mad Men. I think it was going to be like that. Not realizing that it wasn't going to be like that. But then I had my own personal demons and all that kind of stuff, and I finally got out of that. But now with Food Fight and my food page and this, I get to dive back into that marketing I always wanted to do. And what I'm getting at is that social media, all these platforms, like it's just like a blank canvas for us. But then it's up to yourself, up to myself and our teams to how are we going to attack that? Talk about that for a little bit.
Yeah, it's gotten crazy, and like even with the coffee shop, I have to make decisions on where I'm going to market. Like if we're going to do it properly, I can't possibly be on Twitter, I guess it's X now, and now Blue Sky came out, and Threads, and Instagram, and Facebook, and LinkedIn, Snapchat. I don't know.
I don't do the Snap.
TikTok, but like there's so many different things. It's like I can't possibly do all these properly. I would need a team of 10 people just to. So now it's like, where do we focus our time and energy? What's going to be the best for us? And that's going to depend on every industry, what you're in, right? Like TikTok seems great, but is it really going to help with a local coffee shop? It might get you some interest, but how many people just in your area? Like if your TikTok blows up, that means people around the country are seeing it. Mm-hmm. Sure, that's cool for people to see it, but people from around the country aren't going to fly to Wilkes-Barre to go to Abide Coffee House.
Speaking of that real fast, I didn't realize what people were talking about. Like, oh, this is like too close to home. This is on my homepage. I mean, like, I don't know what that meant. People are seeing my pizza ads, my pizza reviews on their homepage in the area. So that's a good positive thing for TikTok too. So what about hitting those people seeing your coffee house on their TikTok local pages? Is that, have you heard of that happening? Are you on TikTok with you guys?
We are. We don't put too much time and effort towards it, honestly. Okay. I just haven't, and maybe I'm 100% wrong, but I personally haven't seen the value in something like that for us, being that it's an establishment we have to walk into. Mm-hmm. Now, for our Teasperience side of things, we have teasperience.com, which has our teas. We've started doing more TikToks for that because that's e-commerce. We can sell anywhere in the country. So that's really like, I'm thinking TikTok more as a national type thing rather than a local thing. Now, if local people see it, that's great. But like for a podcast, it'd be great. You want that to be seen nationally.
Okay, that makes sense.
I don't really care if Abide's seen by some random person in Nevada. Sure, it's cool, but that doesn't do anything for me.
Don't you sell your coffee online?
I do. We have a website for that, but the return on investment for that I didn't see to be worth it, at least right now. Until I have more people on my team.
So Austin, where is your social media focus then?
So right now, actually, a lot of my focus is on geofencing.
What is that?
So we can draw a box around a building, around half of a building, around a small section as small as 20 by 20 feet. And I can say anybody who enters this box with a device, a phone, and spends more than 3 minutes or spends more than 10 minutes, and I can say I only want them if they're female or male, or if their age is 18 to 29, or if their income's more than 100,000. I can set all those parameters, and then I can say anybody who fits these parameters, I want you to serve them an ad, and here's the ad I want them to see. And they're going to see that ad on display network. So like on Google, on the side, you'll see it. When you go on a website, you go on a news website, Fox, CNN, Food Network, any of those, and you see those ads on the website, our ad will show up there. When you're watching videos to get something free on a game you're playing on an iPhone app or Android app, you'll see our ad in one of those videos. So that's what I've been focusing on, because I can target anybody I want based off where they work, where they shop at, anything really.
I understand. We do similar marketing for Good Tree MMA. We have up in Dunmore and down in Wilkes-Barre. So we hit those targeting ads, Google ads, all that kind of stuff. So, what about daily posting on Facebook, social media? Do you weigh heavily on those daily posts, or you just stick to your strategy right now? It's working, right?
Oh no, the daily post is the base. That's what we do that every day.
Okay, yeah.
We're posting sometimes 2 or 3 times a day. That's our organic reach is beyond anything that I at least want to spend on ads right now. We're getting more in organic reach. The ads are a lot more targeted, of course, but the organic reach has been incredible when we're posting the stuff. I mean, we grew our Instagram. When I took over the coffee shop, the Instagram was like 600-700. It's about to hit 10,000 now.
I could use your help on that. my Facebook, but it was great. I was at 12,000 followers. Right?
Yeah.
But Instagram, Jesus Christ. No, I don't. See, the thing is, I wish I could post on the food page directly to the food page on Instagram, but I could do it on my main profile page. But I could also, if I'm on Instagram on Food Fight on there, I could post on there directly to the Facebook. But I feel like, correct me if I'm wrong, or maybe you don't know, like if I post directly on my Instagram page and then I share that on my food page on Facebook, is that getting the same treatment if I post it directly on Facebook? I feel like it doesn't.
No, I don't think it does, and that's the answer nobody truly knows.
Which is outrageous.
But from experience,
they're sharing platforms. They're letting us share platforms,
and they're the same company.
It drives me crazy. So I have to post direct. I feel like posting directly on Facebook, but then also too, say I add in the link to this podcast. Forget about it. They drag it down like it's his job. I tried putting in the comments. They still drag it down. So I don't even fucking put it in the comments anymore.
Yeah.
I don't even put the fact that, I hate even putting the word podcast.
The whole algorithm is just so corrupted.
Because I don't know, my food page does heavy traffic, but then I make podcast posts and it's like, fuck you. Guys, so I'm just glad that it's not just me, but that drives me crazy sometimes. You know what I mean? Like, and then there's times where, good example, like I had Bill Ritchie on the show from Angelo's, the one and only, right? You a fan of sweet sauce pizza?
Oh, I love sweet sauce.
Babe. We're going to get the whole bunch of foods in a little while, right? So he's on the show, picture of him. I just made a nice post. I don't even think I mentioned the word podcast. Did really well on the page. I shared it to about 15 pages. 100,000 people saw it. But then there's one, like, me and Russ Rinaldi should have been one just like that from 04. You've been to Rinaldi's Cafe Rinaldi in 04?
I have.
So great dinner, you know what I mean? Did half of it's just Facebook is very fickle sometimes. But I could post a picture of a chicken sandwich from BK, 100,000 people on it.
Yeah.
Just certain things people like. And my demographic on my page is 25 to 44. That's a main thing is split between men and women. So it's the same audience, but like an 8:30 in the morning word post on my food page does nothing. But a reel gets thousands of views in a couple hours when I post that early. So it's a very weird, it's just, I'm trying to find the best ways about it. How did you get into the strategy of going from 600 followers on Instagram to 10,000 Instagram?
Lots and lots of guessing.
Fuck.
That's literally
crazy.
And that's the problem. Like you said, you had to relearn all the marketing when you got back into it. I feel like I'm relearning it every day, and I've been into it for 10 years straight, and I'm still trying to relearn because things are changing so quickly. And then Facebook or Instagram or Google for the SEO side of things changes their algorithm. We have no idea what they changed and what works. So like used to be able to load Instagram with hashtags, and that would be the thing. Now you load, it doesn't do it. You could put 30, I think there are limits 30, maybe, I don't know what they change it to, but they're always changing those things. So for me, it was just pure guesswork, like what works, what doesn't. And I use a social media scheduler too. So I can schedule out to all different platforms and have the post be a little different. Because obviously, like Instagram, if you put a link in the comments, it doesn't matter. You can't click on it. You can't do anything with it. So like Instagram's link in bio, Facebook's the actual link, depending on what I want to do. But then the scheduler then has the analytics too. And being able to look at the analytics all in one place rather than going to Instagram and seeing theirs, Facebook and seeing theirs, TikTok and seeing theirs, this compiles it all so I can really see what's performing when and where.
I like that. Instagram, you got to work a little bit. You got to work a little bit to get those followers. TikTok is set it and forget it. It really is.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
You just have to have a video blow up.
You just have it blow up. People in the comments go in there once in a while and write back a little bit, get some traffic. Now, Facebook, I'm on top of my first post. Like that first half an hour, if I get 10 comments, I'll write back to 3 comments, wait about 5-10 minutes, go back in. I try to get back to every comment, anything at all. Oh. That just keeps it pumping.
Well, the thing with Facebook and Instagram too is you can buy, well, I don't want to sound the wrong way. You can buy ads to get more followers on Facebook. You can't do that for Instagram. Right. So you see these huge Facebook pages and you go to Instagram and see a lot lower. That could be part of the reason why too. Yeah. It's just Instagram. And I try to be consistent with it. I could be a lot better, but Facebook and TikTok have most of my focus on there. If you could only do ads on one social media platform, what would it be? Just a random question. Instagram. Instagram? Yeah. That's fair. I think it's offers the best right now. If you hit up the proper videos, especially with food, TikTok, Instagram loves that stuff. There's something about my videos that it doesn't like Facebook and TikTok like me moving the microphone and everything like that. Something with Instagram. I think that answer is going to change in 2 years, 1-2 years, because Instagram was the most popular for teenagers at one point, and then it was Snapchat, and now that's the problem too. These demographics it's changing all the time. So now people look at Facebook and that's like the older generation. When I joined Facebook when I was 12 or 13 years old, which is 15, 16 years ago, that was like the thing for everybody. Now one of these teenagers would be caught dead on Facebook. It's ridiculous. Yeah. It's ridiculous. I'm not going to go on Facebook. But when TikTok was getting ready to close down, millions of accounts opened up on Facebook. They're all coming back, but then they're like, no, we're going to keep it. Yeah. Yep. We're going to keep TikTok flowing. So that works out for me. All right, let's get back to a Buy Coffee House. Any plans on franchising?
moving around, or that's it?
That's it for coffee. My dad and I had talked about that from day one, and because of what I like to consider the uniqueness of Abide, like we have that community setting, we have hopefully a welcoming environment for everybody that comes in. We know a lot of our customers. We're heavily involved in the community with events. We realized we can never replicate that on a larger scale to franchise, so we decided Abide Coffee House will only ever be one location. Now, it doesn't mean there's other projects not happening, but for Abide itself, that's going to only be the everyone.
I like
only
that.
whenever there. Yep.
I like that. Don't mess with the home base.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Has anyone approached you about opening up their own?
No, I haven't gotten any approach me about that yet. I've had customers ask, when's the second one opening? When's the third one open? Or when are you going to open 2, 3, and 4? I'm like, I'm not. And I've told people that from day one, we're not.
That's a good decision. Maybe someday. Maybe someday. But
there's always, you never know.
You got some other things you're going to get into the restaurant business here soon, which we're almost our way into there. Let me ask you, I don't know, not personal, but it sounded like when I was reading it on your website, it sounded like it was personal a little bit on maybe a professional level. How important is diversity in your company when it comes to workers, when it comes to your guests coming through the door? How important is that to your foundation?
Yeah, with diversity, you really have those opinions that you're getting from people who grew up. And we're talking about diversity. We're talking about from different income levels, from different cultures, from different regions of the country. Like diversity across the board, I think is important. You're getting perspectives and you're getting that feedback from people who have experienced something different growing up, right? So on the most basic level, you can get 2 different experiences from people who went into like the same shop. And if someone goes into Abide and the coffee is $5, if they're on a very low income, that could be like a stressful experience. That could be like really spending a lot of money to have that experience. If someone comes in who is a doctor making a lot of money, they don't think about that $5, right? And that same thing applies on the other side of the counter with the employees. Hey, here's the things I want to do for the employees. Here's the things I expect from you. I want to hear from the employees. Well, how does that affect your day-to-day? Does it matter? Is it important? Is it part of who you are that's going to compromise any of your values or beliefs? And so having that from multiple different employees, I think creates a pretty well-rounded workplace as well.
I like that. Like that's how it is when at the gym where I work at, Good Tree MMA with the jiu-jitsu and MMA. There's every type of person training next to each other.
And the best part is you don't have to do anything to have that happen.
Right.
You just have to exist, to be a good person, have a welcoming environment.
Yes.
And it happens naturally. I'm not seeking out trying to fill diversity quotas or anything like that. It's
I understand.
Just customers come in because it's a welcome environment for everybody. Employees apply because people from every background feel welcome. So it just happens naturally.
Yeah. And that's how jiu-jitsu is. People are coming in there like jiu-jitsu's up close and personal. You're laying on top of each other. You're sweating on each other. You know, You're trusting the person to choke you just right, to let go of the arm bar instead of snapping your arm, let go of the shoulder lock before anything damage happens. That's the point of the sport. So when on the mats, on any typical night, the amount of different races, different cultures, language barriers sometimes, you know what I mean? I've tried to talk Spanish by saying English, but I just slow my words down.
I just got married a little over a month ago, and my wife's from Ecuador, so I'm really learning that Spanish now.
Good for you. I'm trying my best. I wish I had paid attention in school. They should have taught us Spanish when we were younger.
Oh, I agree.
Not seventh grade.
Don't get me started with that whole debacle.
Teach us Spanish from 5th grade. And
earlier.
Exactly,
some of these countries are doing kindergarten, you're learning, or 1st grade, you're learning both languages.
It should be right next to the math.
Why isn't it? Is baffling to me.
Right next to the math.
Me starting to learn a language when I was in 7th grade already is a waste of time.
Fuck that. I don't want anyone to be here.
Yeah.
You're going to Spanish?
You're having another language? Yeah, that's a whole nother.
No bueno.
I don't want to go down that path because that's a whole nother discussion. But
absolutely no bueno on that one. But I tell you what, I'd probably have some more sales if I could speak Spanish, which is fair. Some of the parents, they speak in a little bit of both, which is more than I speak. But then sometimes the kids have to translate.
Oh, so it's usually the kids translating for the
or the
family.
Kids don't know the English either. I don't know how they're getting by. That's coming along though.
It's tough in school, but they have those ESL classes.
Yeah. I just wish I spoke. I try to learn some basic Spanish and can't do it.
I have trouble doing it, and married to someone who speaks Spanish, so it's,
Oh, you'll learn.
Yeah.
She'll let you.
I have
she's
to.
She's gonna let you know.
I met her family back in January down in Ecuador, and
Okay.
couldn't really speak to them. I mean, I can understand like 90% of Spanish, so it's like halfway there. But I'm like, next time I go down, I have to be able to speak to your parents. Like, I can't even directly speak to the parents of my wife, so I got to.
In English at all, or just
Only one person of like the 20-some family members I met. One spoke fluent English. The rest knew some words, but that was it.
Thank God for the Google Translate app.
Oh, yeah.
So my girlfriend, her family is from Dominican Republic. And they all moved here from the Dominican Republic. They went through everything and became citizens, all that kind of stuff. So we've been together for 6 months. I'm just getting ready to meet her mother, probably next week.
Good luck.
She speaks English. Thank you. She speaks English, but it's more like Spanglish.
Okay.
So I'm going to be in for it. But from what I understand, she likes to feed people, so we're gonna get along just.
That's always the best. Yeah,
great. It's funny. Me and her met. I trained her daughter jiu-jitsu. Her name is Agnes. She's 5 years old. But they came into the gym just about a year ago, and we're training. And I seen Agnes, the daughter, fully transform from she was just about turning 5, running around, little maniac like kids normally are. I don't know if you have children or not.
Not yet.
But they run around like little maniacs, But the progression in our program, it takes time. Our program of jiu-jitsu for the kids, it helps build confidence, which when you're more confident, your discipline rises up. When you learn self-defense, your confidence rises up. It's all about confidence with the kids. Confidence. Even with the adults. Confidence. So when they're confident, their discipline is better. Then they understand what's going on. It's 45 minutes of class discipline, but her turnaround in class. And then I met Bridget on one of the dating websites. I didn't realize it was her. We're talking, and she looked completely different than she did in class. Sometimes she's sitting there by the window, just on the phone while they keep taking class, right? I'm looking at her, I'm talking a couple of days. She's like, you realize I'm Agnes's mother, right? I'm like, I realize that now. We're past it now. So when we went out a couple of times, I was like, okay, I want to continue where this is going. I got to talk to the owners first. So I make sure we're cool with me. We have a strict policy. Yeah. Absolutely zero dating any of the students. It's just no good for business. If you're an MMA business, you're in that kind of atmosphere, and you're the owner or a trainer, professionalism, you know what I mean? Something happens naturally outside the doors, life continues on, but to pursue, that's just our personal policy for our gym. It just makes sense. It keeps everything professional, but her being a parent of the kid, it was a little bit different scenario. It was innocent. It wasn't me. She come in and be like, oh, who's that over there? And nothing like that. It happened naturally. Went out a couple of times. I'm like, let's continue how this is going. Now we're together for half a year, and we're introducing her daughter into our relationship now. You know what I mean? So it's a great way. I took that into consideration going into I don't have kids. I'll be 44 soon. Okay. So I don't want to experience the first few years of parenthood. Yeah. I don't want to change diapers, bro. Yeah. I just want to eat pizza. You know what I mean?
I met my wife on a dating app as well, so
there's gotta meet somewhere.
That's how it happens.
You met her there. Well, what's the difference? You're there a bar or anywhere. It doesn't matter where you meet somebody. Yeah. It's the vessel where you met. People are weird with certain things. But I don't give a shit. Mine was Hinge. It was pretty good.
Bumble.
Fuck Bumble.
You didn't like it?
Oh, it is what it is. They're all in some way the same, but Hinge worked out pretty well. So, things are moving along really well, and I can't complain. So let's talk about the future. What do you have planned? Let me see if I can pronounce this right. If you haven't realized by now, I have trouble pronouncing words sometimes. Qatari. That was close, Brian.
Yeah, close enough.
Qatari Caf and Mocktail.
Cafe and Mocktail Bar.
Mocktail Bar. Stop real fast. What the fuck's a mocktail? Non-alcoholic drink?
Correct.
Ah, okay. Yep. All right. So this is going to be more of a sober palate, like a sober place.
Yeah, it's going to be a sober community space.
I get behind that.
With the bar scene. You get that bar scene without having to deal with the drunk assholes or the alcohol or all that. Yeah.
I like that a lot. I'm in sobriety myself in ways, you know what I mean? It'll be 10 years in June.
My dad's 16 or 17 years now. Right, he's very open about that. Yeah, so
awesome. It's important to be open about it. It's important about our episode. My last 2 episodes were Russ Rinaldi and then Frank's go from here, and we talked about a lot about that. Both have him and Frank and Russ had 2 different paths to their. Frank was more about his diet and the way his body was, and Russ was more about how his mind was and how the drugs that he was doing, alcohol that we talked about.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? For myself too, sobriety, drugs, pills, all that kind of stuff I get into. I'm very open about it. It's important because, 200 people might be listening, 199 don't care, but that one person be like, man, if they could do it, I could do it too. That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. Every once in a while, I get a message saying that I heard your podcast, I heard an episode with you and so, and it kind of gave me a little wake-up call. Then you check in sometimes, and they stop answering. Some of them are still around. You know what I mean? So what developed the idea for that? Was your father behind that? Were you behind that? Did you have struggles yourself?
No, I never have. But growing up, I didn't know my dad was an alcoholic growing up. He became sober. He got in trouble a lot when I was 12, and that's when he decided to sober up. I had no idea. So he was really good at hiding. I guess he was pretty
good at that.
Yeah. From hearing the stories now, I was like, holy crap, how did I not know that? But impressive. So, no, it wasn't actually from that directly. I had bought the coffee shop. I'm like, okay, we have coffee. And then we got into the tea business because we had a lot of people at the coffee shop asking for tea. So I started Tea-Sperience, which we have now in 44 at the 900 Rudder building.
Episode 44,
yes.
I believe. Did I get the number right?
I think that sounds right. Yeah, with Riley. Yeah.
Keep talking. I think I am right. Yeah.
So we have Tea-Sperience. And then a little while back, I think I might have been at Old Time Charlie's maybe.
Is that by the river? Old Times Charlie?
In Plains near the Weiss there?
Yeah. The one that it flooded. Oh, no. I'm thinking the other big building. The Old Times Charlie is by Rite Aid?
Yeah, yep.
Oh, okay.
Right there.
Okay.
So I was at Old Time Charlie's one night and I was...
Excuse me.
I don't drink that often, but if I go out with friends and stuff, I still get pretty crazy. Maybe crazier than I should sometimes. But
I couldn't even imagine getting drunk right now.
I woke up the next day and I'm like, oh, this is cool. And I was just thinking, I'm like, because someone had mentioned to me like, oh, I'm not drinking tonight. I don't really feel like it. And stuff. I'm like, well, that kind of sucks because we're all here enjoying ourselves. And you're in that environment where besides the staff, 98% of the other people there are drunk or at least drinking. So I'm like, something needs to happen here. We already had the community space at Abide. I'm like, this is good, but nobody wants to come to Abide and do karaoke at 7:00 on a Thursday night. Like it's just
that's their coffee morning spot.
Exactly. It's a great environment.
And real fast, you're open from 7 to 7 every day?
Yep, 7 to 7,
that's
7 days
awesome,
a week.
Bro.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Good for you.
So I'm like, they're not going to come and do that. They're not going to want to come and do on a Friday night at 10:00 to come hang out at Abide. Like we need a different environment. We need a bar environment, but without the alcohol.
I'm trying to park in the Wilkes-Barre streets at nighttime too.
That too. So I'm actually
kind of stuff, right?
closing on a property this week in Wilkes-Barre. It's an old church.
Congratulations.
That's going to be the mocktail bar. And it has a 55-car parking lot, which is even better because, again, parking in Wilkes-Barre is always a complaint. But so that's where that kind of came out of. That's should be closing, I'm thinking Monday or Tuesday next week. So by the time this episode comes out, I'll own the property already, hopefully.
Congratulations, man. That's awesome. That's exciting. Please let me know when you're going to be opening up, man. I love to come by and check it out for do some food fight stuff over there. That'll be a really good time.
And that's gonna have, and that's where I talk about in the restaurant industry. I am gonna have a full menu there, not as intense as as a restaurant, but it's gonna be a cafe. There's gonna be breakfast items, pancakes, eggs, French toast. Lunch will have sandwiches, soups, salads.
Make sure you take some stress pills, bro, because you're getting a whole new stress level in your life when it comes to food. Trust me. All right, it's gonna be worth it.
Yeah,
but be ready for it. Batter up.
Great.
You have something else coming this week. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. I got it here. What the fuck?
Want some help?
Yes, please.
So we have.
I swore I wrote it down.
We have a new, I guess you call it business. It's an online platform that's coming out in the next week or two, and it's called Copymore Market.
Thank you.
So this is going to be, the best way to put it would be like an Amazon or Etsy competitor, but we're really, really focused on the small businesses. So it's going to be an online platform for small businesses, and we're going to focus on NEPA first to list their products to sell. So you can go on here and you can put Northeastern Pennsylvania or Luzerne County or whatever you want and say, I want to see the small businesses in this area. I want to buy stuff from them. You'll be able to buy it, to have it shipped to you. So you can purchase from anywhere in the country. You can have it shipped to you. You can go there for pickup. You can arrange however you want with that. The nice part with this platform is 10% covers all your fees. No extra listing fees, none of this extra crap that Etsy and Amazon are putting on. I try to sell stuff on these platforms and it's not worth it. 25, 30, 35%.
crazy. I'm trying to interrupt you. It's
Yeah.
crazy. And then eBay, they're like, ship your product, make sure they get it, and they're happy with it, and then we'll pay you.
Yeah.
You gave all the power to the buyer. I used to be a power seller on eBay, and over the years, it just got crazy, right?
So all these platforms have just become almost anti-small business. And the ones that went out are the drop shippers and the scammers, or these giant companies who will find the product that I'm making down the street, and then they go reproduce it in China and sell it for half the price. So it's like, we need a platform for small businesses that we can really just focus on them, and we can really keep that filtered, make sure there's no drop shipping, make sure there's no mass produced garbage on there.
Think about all the intellectual properties that people lost to China. China. You know what I mean? And, it's time for them to pay a little bit. We're not going to get into politics on the show, but, there's definitely a shift in the way the country is going, and let's just see how it goes. You know, as a business owner, I'm sure you're paying close attention to that as far as tariffs and taxes and prices of products. You know what I mean? I got John DeBone coming in next from owner of Bar Pazzo, and one of the topics he wants to discuss is a culture shift in culinary and also the state of the industry. So you're going to find out the state of the industry when you start making pancakes soon.
Oh, boy.
I watched a video the other day. A guy made like spaghetti pancakes. So he had the pan. He had like the like that, one flip, and then the whole plate was just spaghetti pancakes.
Interesting.
Oh, yeah.
That sounds pretty good, actually.
I would eat the whole plate.
You know what I watched last night? I was watching Modern Family.
Okay.
And Phil and his son were trying to make pancakes with popcorn in it, so they were self-flipping pancakes. It was so funny. They had little popcorn kernels, and the popcorn kernels exploded. The pancake would flip itself and cook. That's the first thing I thought of when I heard spaghetti pancakes.
Modern Family, the main guy is Al Bundy, right? Ed O'Neill? Modern Family?
Don't even ask me actors' names. Couldn't even tell you.
I think that's what I'm thinking about Modern Family. I think that's who the main actor is, but I could be wrong about that, though. I could be wrong about that. Yeah, I actually had that written down right here. Could be more marketing launches. Tell us more. Yep. For some reason, I looked right through it. Absolutely hysterical.
Yeah, so that's going to be coming out soon. That'll have its own Android app, iPhone app, the whole 9 yards. So.
It's going to be great. That sounds like a really cool business. So real fast. So it's, if I took an ad, I must take an ad out for my Food Fight podcast. So my cost is just an upfront cost on a monthly basis.
It's per product you sell. So I'm working on developing like an advertising platform for like people who want to advertise on there.
Oh, okay.
But it's
right
just going to be
just products.
It's just going to be 10% of your sale. That's it. No listing fees, no monthly fees. I mean, as we grow, I'm sure I'll offer extra stuff if you want to get extra features and stuff. But like everybody can list as many products as you want for free without issue, just 10% of your sale.
I love that. When I was in college, going back, did a small business competition. At the time I was selling on eBay. So I was like, I had this name called Money Magic. I'm like, what if I just do an eBay store, a storefront where people bring their products in, but the only way they pay is if it sells. So you bring in widget A, you know what I mean? You bring in, this Cinnabon, right? $100 Cinnabon, probably worth it. We're gonna get that in a minute, right? So you bring in, hey, I want to sell this cinnamon bun for $100. Okay, listen, I'm going to list it for you. These are the costs. You're going to pay the eBay fee. You're going to pay the seller fee. And then you're going to pay a 10 or 20% fee to us. You get the rest. So pretty much you bring this in, hand it to me.
You do nothing.
Walk out. You do zero, and you make $60 to $70 after it's all said and done. So that was the plan.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it went really well. I actually placed in it. You know what fucked me? I don't know what the hell happened from my chart, from my spending chart. Everything was really good cost cutting, and then for some reason my miscellaneous was $1,000, and the guy goes, "What's the miscellaneous for?" I'm like, I look up, I go, "Jesus Christ, it's like $100 for lunch." I go, unfortunately, that's just an error on my part, and then it cost me. It's all about presentation like that, but the idea was very sound in 08, but it's different now.
Same idea though. We're just creating that.
100%.
Instead of using eBay, we're
great.
creating that platform.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
And they can put right on there. And
people like
this
that.
is going to help a lot of the small businesses too, who don't either have the time, money, knowledge, or patience to put their stuff on a website.
Yeah.
Maybe they have the money, they just don't have the time, or they have the time, they don't have like something there that's preventing them from putting. There's no reason not. I mean,
a lot of it is not doing it.
There's a lot of reasons not to, but at the end of the day, if it was easy enough and cheap enough, who wouldn't want to put their products somewhere to sell them?
I completely agree. Completely agree.
But I mean, I have the tea and the coffee. I have not put either of those on any other platforms because of the cost.
I don't blame
I have
you.
them on websites. I'm not paying 35%. My margins in the coffee are only
35%. Where's that at?
I might be
Just in
exaggerating a
general?
little bit,
I
but
got you, though,
but
just in general.
but when you do Etsy and you list and then you do ads with them, they take like 15%. If that ad leads to that sale, they take an additional like 15 or 17% or something, and like then you're paying the shipping, and like I make 40% if I'm on a good day on a bag of coffee. If I'm paying out even 25% in fees, 20%, that's half my profit down the drain.
That's not worth it.
No,
that's not worth it. So real fast, we talked about coffee. So I was right. Episode 44.
Okay.
Wiley was on here for a tea experience.
Yep.
And the episode name was the Boston Tea Party, the ultimate food fight. It was.
I mean, yeah.
Changed the whole entire country. All right. So we have some products here on the table. We're getting ready to close up here. We're hitting the last rounds. So I'm trying to add in more fight stuff. You know what I mean? This is the thoughts I have at midnight at my house when I'm floating around watching TV. So you have the coffee end. You get the tea end. Yep. And this tea, it was cherry. I asked him to bring in some kind of cherry in for me.
Yeah.
And it was cherry. No, I'm sorry. Orange tea.
It was an orange tea.
It was orange tea. It was some kind of orange.
I can't remember.
I can't remember
the
what
orange
it is,
flavors we have.
But I think it was blood orange.
Oh, blood orange. Yep. Okay.
Absolutely delicious. It was I felt refreshed off of it. And he brought in the tea cups and everything like that. Mm-hmm. And we changed the tablecloth, first time ever on Food Fight.
Wow.
The green tablecloth. We had and she said drinking out of China is it felt like it was a whole experience drinking out of the China cups. It was really, really good. Tell us a little about tea experience, and I'm going to get into this cinnamon bun right here. This made fresh?
Yes. So we have some vendors that we use. I'll talk about that in a second. Yeah, so we have tea experience, and actually what you were talking about, which I think is really good to highlight, is our herbal teas. You had an herbal tea, and those are my favorite. Now, most of those don't have caffeine in them, the herbal teas, but for me, they're the most flavorful. I love them. We have a whole line of herbal teas, blueberry, orange, cherry.
There might not be caffeine in there, but they give you a little jump.
Oh, yeah. You're definitely getting some type of energy boost, because and the nice part with these teas is there's no added sugars. There's no added. This is just tea or just chunks of fruit or just natural stuff. There's nothing added in them that's unnatural. It's all 100% natural, which has been great. So even without the caffeine, it tastes great.
I'm wired off the caffeine you brought me today.
Yeah. And so what you're eating now is a cinnamon bun from Sinfully Sweet. So we don't actually make any pastries in the shop. We don't have the kitchen, the capacity. I don't have the desire to get into pastries. Well, I say that now. I also said I didn't have a desire to get into restaurants. So here I am.
I'm sorry to interrupt.
This is Sinfully Sweet out of Dallas. He doesn't have like a retail store. He sells his stuff all around the valley.
Look at that icing thickness right there.
Oh yeah, and he makes incredible cinnamon buns.
I'm going in.
This is his plain cinnamon bun. He has flavored ones. He is like what Captain Crunch, or is it Captain Crunch or some other cinnamon toast crunch he has. He has around the holiday, he has like a peanut butter chocolate one. Around the holidays, he has like 10 different flavors he regularly rotates through. That's just the plain one, but it's incredible.
The frosting is outrageous.
Now imagine that in the microwave for 15 seconds.
Air fryer.
Never thought of an air fryer.
I took a cinnamon bun home once from the mall.
Okay.
Just sitting on the counter the whole day. I'm picking at it. You know, they're gigantic from Cinnabon, right?
Yeah.
I'm picking at it. I'm eating it in front of the sink. I'm looking to the left of me is my air fryer. I'm like,
what the hell? Yeah.
I'm like, I'm going to put this fucking thing in there. Little tin foil, little spray, boom. Not too long. Oh, Austin, yeah. Your face is exactly what I felt like.
Yeah, that seems like a game changer right there.
I couldn't imagine this one because look at that frosting in there. This is amazing.
Yeah, and he makes these fresh every single week.
What's that over there? That coffee cake?
And then here, this is from Front Porch Bake Shop. So she's a school teacher, and she used to have an actual front porch she sold off of in Wyoming. She ended up moving recently, so she doesn't have a front porch anymore, but she still sells her stuff all around the valley as well. So she has great products. We have great products, both of them. We carry about 8 or 9 of her products. From Sinfully Sweet, we have the cinnamon buns, and he has gluten-free cookies and some other cakes he makes as well. Her coffee cake, crumb cake.
Look at the thickness of this coffee cake. Brian, look at that.
Yeah. It is one of the best things I've ever had.
That's half cake and half crumble.
I know, it's incredible.
Fucking awesome. Going in.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely
going in. Usually I'm not too shy with the food, but
yeah, so we carry stuff from them. We carry stuff from Bakery Delight, a few other places. So we like to get all our pastries sourced locally.
oh my God.
Yeah. That with a cup of coffee in the morning, or
there's a little sugar in there.
Just a little bit, yeah. Between those 2 bites, you've gotten your sugar intake for the week, I think, between the cinnamon bun and the coffee cake. But damn, are they good.
I want to eat the whole fucking thing. I want to just turn the show off.
I mean, you could. You just won't make weight on Sunday then.
I'm not going to make weight on Sunday.
Yeah, that's the downside.
We're getting there, though. Oh, man. So we got crumble cake from
Front Porch
Bake Shop.
Yep.
And then we have our cinnamon bun from
Sinfully Sweet.
Sinfully Sweet.
Yep.
Love those names, too. It's great.
Yeah.
What we got on the table here? I see bags of coffee, tea. We got honey. We got little honey.
We got honeys. We carry our honey from the Beekeeper Daughter out of Plains, so that's another local business.
We're going to keep this for Sunday.
So we have honey, and then these are some of our blends of coffee. So we started working with a new roaster back in the fall, and we started developing new blends and having partnerships with him, and it's been great. So we have, I think, about 12 or 13 different blends of coffee right now, and we've named them all off of local landmarks, off of local areas, stuff like that.
Okay.
So like this one's just our regular Abide blend. So that's what we've had for years.
Okay.
It's a blend of 2 coffees. Then this one we have here is the Diamond City Drip. So those who don't know, Wilkes-Barre's nickname is Diamond City. Mm-hmm. And then what's the one we have?
This is the Sterling Legacy Roast.
Sterling Legacy Roast. So if you don't know where the coffee shop's located in Wilkes-Barre, we're right next to the site of the old Sterling.
Sterling Hotel.
Sterling Hotel.
Oh,
yeah.
It's no longer there, right?
Correct.
It's the empty lot where they're building whatever.
That's the empty lot. They're hopefully going to be building on it. But yeah, so we have those. We have ones named after kings and Wilkes. We actually are launching this week. Now I'm going to get this wrong. It's
sounds like me.
Bears Beats Brew.
Bears Beats Brew?
From The Office, from Dwight.
Okay.
And Dwight goes, Bears Beats Battlestar Galactica. So we have one Bears Beats Brew. We're launching a Penn State one this week as well. So we try to kind of keep all our coffee
Does the Penn State one lose their flavor? Like they lose their games? Oh, I'm a Penn State grad. I used to love rooting against the team, though.
So yeah, we've developed a pretty good line of coffees. A little variety for everybody. We carry coffee from like 7 or 8 different countries at a time, too.
It's awesome.
So. And all of it's whole bean. It's roasted fresh. We can grind it right in the shop for you.
This one says we got honey, raspberry, almond, syrupy body, tangy sweet. That's a fucking coffee right there.
Yeah. So the interesting part about all these coffees is every coffee you drink has flavor notes like that. The difference is it's about how you prep the coffee, the temperature of the coffee, how you're drinking it, how long it's taking you to drink it. All those different things affect the flavor notes. So those are flavor notes that exist.
Okay.
Whether or not you taste them and how they're extracted is a whole different story.
And you said that earlier on about the way the water,
everything you
that goes
do
into it
affects what you're going to taste in the flavor notes. So just because those are listed in the bag doesn't mean you're going to taste them. Every person's going to taste something a little different depending on how it's brewed and the temperature of the water. Even the water you're using will affect the flavor notes.
That's great. My coffee tastes a little different every morning.
Yep.
A little bit of water, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. I think my espresso machine had a little clog for a little while because it was coming out real slow.
Okay.
Now it's coming out like a rocket. So I'm like, okay, you're back to working well. But like I said, I try to replace it every couple of years. I wonder what's inside there. Anyways, real quick question about coffee. Then we're going to move on to, I got some final questions to ask you. Great interview so far. Great conversation so far. I learned a lot. If you could only drink, I'm going to actually add this to the 3 questions.
Okay.
If you could only drink one coffee a certain way the rest of your life, how are you drinking it? I asked you that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's this drink we started recently, and I'm not saying it's unique to us. I don't think it is, but we put it on our menu recently. It's called an Undertow.
Okay.
It is, the one we have is maple syrup and salt on the bottom, and then it's an espresso shot. No. Then it's milk, and then it's an espresso shot over the top. So the cool part about that, it's a small one.
I want that right now.
Cool part about it is there's 2 ways to drink it. You can drink the whole thing all at once like a shot and you taste all that. Or what I like to do is drink it in 3 parts. So what happens is the top is hot, then it gets cooler, and then it's almost cold at the bottom. So you drink it like a sip, salt, a sip, salt. And it's the coolest experience ever having those 3 different I'm a big fan of like foods that have a hot and cold combination. So I taste the hot and cold at the same time. So that's similar. You drink it in 3 sips and it's so cool.
That sounds really good.
It's a neat experience.
When we get ready to release our episode, I'm going to come to the coffee shop. We'll do some pictures. I want to try one of those. We
Sounds
can do
good.
some stuff. We'll do a whole thing for the whole week. I always promote my episodes, but I'm diving into it now. I got the new set, the new team. Springtime's fucking coming, baby. I'm
feeling good about it. Yeah,
I'm getting up earlier and all that kind of stuff. So just more and more promotion, more and more videos. The more that we could get out about all these great businesses in NEPA and beyond, just small businesses in general, the right small businesses.
Yes,
because someone brought to my attention a little while ago that there's some small businesses in the area that don't deserve our business. Don't appreciate what we do for them. So when I get, what I'm talking about, just by your face, you've been in the business now, you're consulting everything for a while.
Yeah.
Me and my food pages, all that kind of stuff. Like I've had people tell me, don't come by. Don't come. Very, very rare.
I know, but
very
for even
rare.
One business to say that is just
very rare. Like there's well, look at the way people Dave Portnoy is a little controversial sometimes.
He can be a
little rough with around the edges sometimes.
Well, he gets in politics a little more, so probably he should if he's trying to.
He gets a lot more than that, but sometimes people are just like, oh, we don't need you to come here.
Yeah, I've seen him.
I wasn't coming there anyway, bro. I wasn't coming there anyway. I see your pictures of your food. I'm not coming there anyways. But again, very rare, but usually very positive in the area. I'm sure you experience the same thing. I'm sure you get those one messages, hey, thank you for coming by.
Well, that
means a lot to me. That means a lot to me, man. That's I do it to give back. I know how hard it is to work in the hospitality industry, the restaurant business, and you're going to experience that soon too. You know what I mean? And it's a tough business, and you don't need some jerk off dragging your name for no reason.
Yeah.
If you're a bad business, listen, if I went to a pizza place and I walked in and the guy was a jerk to me and the food sucked and he was ignorant to his customers and his workers, there's a good possibility that I let people know about that because I wouldn't want my friends or my family going there. And then, does that make sense? Like,
totally.
It's hard for me to post something like that, but if it's all of those recipes together.
There's redeemable things. If you're having a bad day and you're in a little of a mood. Now, granted, you are in the people business, so you got to be really careful with that. But that could be redeemable.
100%.
Bad food could be redeemable.
Yeah.
Being just straight up rude to customers and especially employees, forget it. The employees are what make your business run. Your business wouldn't exist without them. If it can without them, then don't have employees, right? If you need employees, it means you need them for your business. Treat them right. I don't want to see this bullshit with you treating your employees bad or all this stuff. Like, it just doesn't make any sense.
I agree.
And that's most restaurant. I'm going off a tangent, but most restaurant owners or people in the hospitality industry, I don't think they value their employees enough. I think employees are the lifeblood of your business. So if you should be treating them right. If you treat them right, everything else comes naturally. The success we've had at Abide is because we tried to do the best we can for our employees. They're happy. They like the place. They respect the place and hopefully respect my dad and I as owners. And then in return, they give good service and we get more customers.
That's what it's all about. If you have happy employees, you have happy customers and guests because your employees are happy. They represent your business all the time, on and off the clock. Take care of your workers. Take care of your workers. And it sounds like you guys do a great job there. Great job there. Final questions.
Okay.
All right. What is your favorite food?
Chinese food.
And you got to narrow it down.
General Tso's with fried rice.
That's my to-go order. That's my delivery order.
If my wallet and body could handle, I would eat it 7 days a week.
Me too.
Real quick, I went to college. When I was in college, I was always heavily involved in everything on student government type things and Greek life and all that stuff. So I would always go a week early before the semester started because I always had stuff to do for the clubs. Dining halls weren't open. I lived on campus all 4 years. I didn't want to deal with living off campus because my campus in Rhode Island was secluded, so I'd have to drive 20 minutes from the houses. So I lived on campus. Dining halls weren't open for that first week. I'd go up to the Chinese food place at the top of campus, order about 15 meals, shove them in my mini fridge, and then breakfast, lunch, and dinner for a week. I would heat up Chinese food in the microwave and just eat that in my dorm room for a week.
You were definitely high sodium.
Oh, yeah. I was also 18, 19, 20, could handle it.
Oh, I love General Tso's
I
chicken.
eat one meal of Chinese food now. I'm like, I don't need to eat for the next 3 weeks. I feel disgusting. Before, I used to eat it 3 times a day, and it was like nothing.
You enjoy the buffet over by the mall? The best buffet. The Wyoming Valley Mall?
Best buffet, Star Asia, near the Pitts and Walmart.
They're good, too. But the thing about that place is their orange chicken isn't, not orange, their honey chicken isn't as good as honey chicken in Wilkes-Barre. That's why I go to Wilkes-Barre.
I've only been to Wilkes-Barre twice.
Both buffets are good, but the buffet in the mall, what's the name of that one?
It's the mall buffet. That's what
the cleanest. It's It's clean, it's spotless, and the piston one is nice too. But the orange, the honey chicken at the Wilkes-Barre one, that's the best.
Tang's, it's not a buffet. It's like near Wegmans in Wilkes-Barre.
I might have had it before.
Their General Tso's is the best. A little crispiness to it, a little crunch in the General Tso's. Oh, don't get me started. With some crab rangoons, lo mein.
There's a place called Dragon City too that has good. That was my my DoorDash delivery. I no longer use DoorDash because I was getting obsessed with it. I added up my monthly for DoorDash.
Oh, I don't want to.
It was my first month ever doing it because I was sick for a week. I'm like, I gotta get some fucking food in here. I got DoorDash, and what a fucking ripoff, right? 32. I got Philly's Finest, the one that's delivered to my place. Cheeseburger. You ever Philly's Finest?
No, I haven't.
You want a good cheesesteak, a good cheeseburger? Brian, you ever Philly's Finest? Fucking A, man, right? Delicious food.
Market Street Burgers for burgers,
excellent.
Too.
Oh, excellent.
The mac and cheeseburger.
They're crazy French fries they do with favorite tater tots, like ribeyes and stuff on there. Oh yeah, they're Market Street Burgers, 5 stars, one punch knockout, 100%. What am I talking about?
DoorDash delivery fees suck.
I ordered a cheesesteak and a cheeseburger. It was $17 for both. The order was $32. I'm gonna give a good tip. Yeah. Shit, I want my food hot. I realize you give a good fucking tip. They're gonna hustle for you because they want repeat customers, right? Mm-hmm. Holy shit. Was it worth it? Yes. But I order it again. No, I got rid of the app off my phone.
I use it 3-4 times a week. I use Uber Eats.
I can't justify it no more.
I pay for the $10 Uber One membership too for a month, which cuts down your fees a lot. And for some reason, I hope Uber's not listening to me. They constantly throw excessive amounts of discounts at me. I don't know why.
Because you're a serial user.
Yeah, but like there's times where I've gotten 40% off my meal for like 12 meals in a row for like a week.
Do I try Uber Eats? Don't be a bad influence.
I'm just saying, I prefer Uber Eats and I use it definitely more than I should, but I get so many good deals. I can't not.
I understand. I just can't. I can't do it no more. I can't do it. At first, it wasn't bad because I was getting discounts, but now it's like, hey, we're gonna fuck you now.
Yeah.
I'm like, I just paid $35 for a cheese. I used to get Leggio's pizza delivered to my place. I'm obsessed with it.
Yeah.
And it'd be a $11 pizza. I paid $21 for it. Now that's not horrible. My Chinese delivery food order was a General Tso's combo platter, $21. Worth it.
I actually find the Chinese food delivery fee is always the highest. I don't know why. At least the places I like.
You know why? It's the most delicious.
Well, that or pad thai and eat pad thai food.
Well, I wonder if you're going to have the same answer for this question.
Okay.
What food could you eat 24 hours, 7 days a week? Only food you could eat rest of your life.
I don't know if it's considered food. Middlesworth barbecue chips.
That's going to be your meal for the rest of your life?
I could live off Middlesworth barbecue chips.
That's fair.
I mean, that's kind of a scapegoat for a meal, I guess, but like.
You're not going to get a lot of protein in that. You're going to be a potato.
But that's using logic. If we're going to eat one food the rest of our life, logic's already out the window. So
fair enough. Fair enough. You are on death row for eating too many potato chips and stealing them from people because you became a potato chip addict, and then you just robbing places for Middlesworth potato chips because you spent too much money on Uber Eats. What would be your last meal? General Tso's chicken on top of fucking potato chips?
The right thing to say would be like one of my mom's meals or something, you know, because she's a great cook.
Yeah, but if that was the answer, that would have came up immediately.
I know.
You got one in there.
It's General Tso's. It'd have to be. Like, that's always a go-to. My wife never had, she's only been in the country for a little over a year now, or about a year, so she never had Americanized Chinese food. I introduced it to her a few months ago, and now she loves it, which is not great. Now that because at least if she didn't like it as much, she would like kind of temper my eating of it, but she loves it too. So like, if we ever want to get food we don't know what to get, we always just default to Chinese food.
Yep, my girlfriend, like, we want to go for lunch? Yeah, where we going? She doesn't care where we go. She's going to eat whatever. She's always eating. She's like, we're going to the buffet.
Yeah.
We're going to the buffet. We're going to the buffet.
There used to be a Chinese food restaurant in Wilkes-Barre right across from City Hall. They shut down a few years ago. When I first got out of college and was working down in Wilkes-Barre, my dad and I would meet there because they had a lunch. It was General Tso's and fried rice with a can of soda, $5.99.
That's an amazing deal. I grew up in Old Forest. China Star was there forever. They used to have a buffet back in the day.
It was like $13 or something with tax for 2 of us to eat lunch.
Yeah, I love it. You can charge whatever you want at the buffet. I'm gonna pay for it. Austin, great conversation. I learned a lot about your business and yourself as well. It's turned into like a nice natural bullshit conversation over coffee. Please tell all the listeners where they could come get this great coffee. You order online. We got tea experience as well. Please.
Oh, there's a lot there. So Abide Coffee House in Wilkes-Barre. We're right off the square in Wilkes-Barre towards the Market Street Bridge. We have Tea-Sperience, which is in the Rudder Ave building, 900 Rudder Ave, where Canning House is.
Great building.
What incredible!
Amazing,
If you haven't been there, you have to go to that building.
there.
You get to explore. You see the art,
really
you see the
cool.
businesses.
Really cool.
And then we have our online websites, teasperience.com, where we have 375 teas on there. Abidegrounds.com, where you can buy our coffee. Copiamore Market's coming. All of this can be found on copiamorehospitalitygroup.com. It has links to all our projects that we're working on. You can find everything there.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much, Austin, for coming on The Food Fight. I
Thank
want
you.
to thank all of my sponsors and, of course, all of my listeners. Please follow me for more at Dimattei's Food Fight on Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram. DIMATTIA'. Food Fight, spelled like you would normally spell that. And Austin, thanks again for coming on Food Fight. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Thank you.